The vulnerability of elderly people to abuse around wills is really endemic in our society at the moment.
The exponential growth in cases in this area coming before the court would suggest that things have not kept pace.
Vulnerable people are left open to abuse.
The current test for testamentary capacity is one that has survived for over 150 years now, the Banks and Goodfellow test. It involves a black and white assessment. Of course, the reality is very less straightforward than that, much more nuanced. Dementia 150 years ago was not a condition that was associated with old age.
Some people who have moderate to severe dementia may yet have the capacity to make a will according to the Banks v. Goodfellow criteria. My name's Robin Jacobi, and I'm the Emeritus Professor of Old Age Psychiatry at the University of Oxford. For the last 20 years, my main interest has been in contentious probate. I've done about some 400 capacity cases. Litigation could have been avoided if more care had been taken either by will drafters or by doctors or by families. Very relatively few of those that come to litigation eventually come to trial because people wisely settle. It's a pity that it has to come even to that stage.
The Twilight zone is the period when somebody still has capacity according to the legal tests, but dementia might be affecting their cognitive abilities.
It's often referred to as the prodromal stage. It's probably wise to remind ourselves at this stage that dementia is a clinical syndrome. In other words, it's a set of symptoms and signs, a change in personality, features of anxiety, increasing dependence. The commonest feature that people report is memory failure, and that's what we call episodic memory failure, so that a daughter might describe she's spoken to her mother on the phone, and then 5 minutes later the mother rings again and has forgotten that she's actually spoken just a short while before. That stage, the patient is taken to the doctor, and all the doctor can say is, we have to wait and see how things develop, because there's no necessary, easy diagnostic test.
There will be days where they seem perfectly cognizant and very rational. At the same time, other days where they really do struggle to make decisions and really struggle to understand the information that you're giving to them. People who are deemed not to have crossed that threshold of losing full capacity are treated as if they have full capacity and they have full agency to make all of their decisions.
There are really quite a striking number of cases, people making wills that would have been inconceivable 10 years previously.
And that's why we call it the Twilight zone, because it's an area that slips through the cracks when it comes to protecting vulnerable clients.
Not all clients will be vulnerable because they're elderly. There may well be all sorts of other potential vulnerabilities. Examples might include difficulties with addiction or other mental health problems, or they might include things like recent bereavement.
The law provides very little by way of safeguard for those people who are nevertheless vulnerable.
This is a major problem with the law as it stands at the moment.
Capacity issues becoming much more common in will disputes. This is also fueled by increase in asset values. There is now something usually worth fighting over.
The tension that you have between the expectations of dependents and family members and friends as to what they think they should be entitled to or inherit, which can cause people to be very angry once the will's been read out. And so capacity can often be leapt on.
The law that relates to capacity to carry out transactions and in particular make a will, it is actually quite a low bar to cross. Somebody with really quite advanced dementia, provided that you can establish that they have capacity, the law will uphold the transaction.
Right now, the problem with the law is that there aren't enough protections for people in the Twilight Zone. What we really need to do is to be introducing safeguards.
The law really lets such people down.